My name is Sophia Tamarkin, and I was born in the Soviet Union. When I was a little child, I was born into the world where nothing was free will, everything was decided for you. I was born into the place of communism, and it's a place where the box was created at the moment that you were born. It was a place where you could not freely think, and it was a scary place for me because I was born to be a free thinker. And I was very blessed because eventually my parents immigrated to the United States. But when I was a little girl, I was born a lefty. And when I went to school, this was a real crime because being a lefty means that you were different. And the teacher beat me because I looked different to the teacher. But my story has to do with the fact that despite the fact that I lived in the Soviet Union and could not really express my identity, my Jewish faith, and my inner strength, eventually I was able to find my voice and my inner light despite the fact that I was born in the world of darkness. When I was about 10 years old, my friend, who lived in the same apartment building, invited me to her party. Her mother was somehow connected to the communist government, and thus she had a little bit more things in the house. And when I entered that house, I saw that they had a very beautiful furniture. They had things that nobody that lived in the Soviet Union in 1980s had. And we were sitting around the table. The goodies, the candies and the crackers and the cookies were magnificent, and all the children were shaking because we only saw things that were available provided by the government. So I saw a potato, I saw buckwheat, I saw oatmeal, I sometimes saw eggs, but wrappers and beautiful things and smells. All the children were completely mesmerized, and we were all seated around the table. And the children started push each other, trying to grab things. And suddenly, I had this inner voice that I recognized to be the voice of my soul. And it told me, this is your chance to stand up. You don't have to be like everybody else. You could just say, no, thank you, and not eat the cookies. And the other voice said to me, are you kidding me? Now we're going to utilize free will? Maybe another day. But this was it. I had to somehow show that I was a person to myself, that I was above the fact that I wanted the incredible delicacies that were in front of me. And thus, I sat there politely as a little child, a little girl with ponytails, and I said, no, thank you. And everybody stared at me because there's no child in the Soviet Union that would not want what was in front of us. And I just sat there, of course, salivating, but I decided that I'm not going to take and I'm not going to grab. And suddenly, a next test came my way. The mother came out, and she was holding a platter with bananas. Now, it's probably if aliens were to arrive now, you would be less surprised than I was and all of us looking at bananas. We didn't know what bananas looked like, but I remember that they were green. I think because they were imported, they were green, but she didn't know that bananas were supposed to be yellow, so she was serving them. And she walked around the table. There were about 20 people, and she gave everybody a banana. And I think because they weren't sweet, she told that the rule of eating a banana is that you have to put a teaspoon of strawberry jam, which most people had because we made them in the summer from the berries that we grew, and you put it on top of the banana and you eat it. And she gave everybody a banana, and it was my turn. I said, no, thank you. And I still look back and wonder where I got my strength. It's hard to really answer that question. But I decided that I'm not going to partake in this insanity because everybody were grabbing and really it was just something, a feast of a body, and I just wanted to be a soul. I wanted to be different. And I said, no, thank you. And she kept on insisting that I should have the banana because this banana was literally purchased from me. And somehow I withstood that test. At some point I wanted it so badly that I sat there with like a cry in my throat, but I decided that I'm not going to succumb to some temptation. It was a test of who am I, and I decided that I am a person. And there was no other way for me to prove this to myself at this age in the country where I was born. I ended up leaving home without tasting anything, without eating a banana, but who knew then that I would live in a country where I could buy an unlimited amount of bananas and fruit and candies. I sometimes buy myself a banana, a ripe one, that is actually a yellow proper color. And when I'm in a bad mood, I open that banana and I put a strawberry jam on it, and I bite into it and celebrate my identity, because we're all unique, we're all special, and nobody in this world should squash our individuality and our ability to shine. Thank you.